Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas, Namandas. Good morning. Now this recording was done yesterday. Today, Sunday morning, we are having a rummage sale, and the same was true yesterday. Annually, our temple has a rummage sale where we sell household goods and furniture. And as I have said many times, that as Shin Buddhists, often our practice occurs not only in the Hondo, our sanctuary, but also outside, in the kitchen, dining room, and in all our activities. It happens in everyday life. The rummage sale is an example of interdependence, how everything is interconnected. And we're fortunate to have so many generous members and friends who have donated furniture, household goods, clothing, and other items. Sometimes because a person passes on, the family donates family heirlooms, furniture, and household goods. And these are things that we're able to sell. Some of our members pick these things up, they're stored, and then sold at these rummage sales. Because we had to skip the rummage sale last year due to COVID, we have an abundance of furniture and household goods. And so what is not sold will be given to charities. Now, these sales take a lot of work, but because of COVID, we have not really asked members to come out because of the difficulty and the infection rate. But I hope that next year, members and friends will come out to help out because it's a real experience to be in this practice of learning the principles of Buddhism in everyday activities. When we take part in these activities, we acknowledge all the effort it takes and the enjoyment of being with others. When we recognize the interdependence of all things, we really appreciate and are more mindful of our actions. We realize that when things are created, used, and then discarded, they don't just disappear. This rummage sale kind of replicates the story of the Buddhist origin of our Eco-Sangha. Reverend Don Castro initiated the Eco-Sangha movement in BCA. My wife Karen helped establish an Eco-Sangha group in San Jose and here in San Diego. Now, the Eco-Sangha group is aware of the interdependence of all things and really takes part in activities where this is activated in a truly practical way. Now, this story I want to relate happened at the time of the Buddha. There was a queen consort, Shyamavati, and she offered Ananda, who was a disciple of the Buddha, 500 garments to give to the monks. And Ananda received them with great satisfaction. But the king, Udayana, heard of this and was suspicious of Ananda. So he came and asked Ananda what he was going to do with the garments. Ananda replied, "O king, many of my brothers are in rags. I'm going to distribute the garments among them." And the king asked, "What will you do with the old garments?" Ananda replied, "We will make bed covers out of them." And the king asked, "What will you do with the old bed covers?" "We will make pillowcases." "What will you do with the old pillowcases?" "We will make floor coverings out of them." "What will you do with the old floor covers?" "We will use them for foot towels." "What will you do with the old foot towels?" "We will use them for floor mops." "And what will you do with the old floor mops?" "Your Highness, we will tear them into pieces, mix them with mud, and use the mud to plaster the house walls." And so this is an early example of the idea of recycling by one of Buddha's disciples, Ananda. And the rummage sale is a way for furniture and household goods to be used by others, a great example of interdependence. And as Shin Buddhists, we're so fortunate to have a religion that has so many benefits and is a guide to life. The rummage sale is a way that teaches us the principles of selfless giving, dana. Dana is the first of the 6 paramitas. And the paramitas are the practices of a bodhisattva. And we might all consider ourselves bodhisattvas as we're on our way to awakening. I'll speak more about the Paramitas in our Ohigan service in September. This first Paramita of Dana is selfless giving. It means pure giving, that when we give, we even forget that we gave. And in other words, we do it without waiting to be acknowledged. And it doesn't have to be a material gift. It can be just some kind words or even a smile. But this thought of giving to others selflessly is the first principle in our Paramitas. Now, many people have donated these items. Members are donating their time and their efforts in the sales, in this Rummage sale. And people buying the things are contributing finances for the temple upkeep. And then things that are not sold are given to charities. All these are acts of dana. And I remember Arturo Rubio leads our dana group. And he, Katie Sumida, and others really have continually collected and given items in many different events where we've given to charities and schools and other less fortunate people in our community. And we do this without waiting for a thank you, because this is part of our practice. Now, many members are familiar with our fundraising activities. We need a lot of help to raise money to support the temple. But I don't know if many people are aware of the temple's charitable giving program. We may not publicize this very much. As I said, dana is giving without even thinking that we're part of this, that we give with pure thoughts. And so we have a dana group chaired by Lorraine Ota. And she and other members bring things to our seniors, make sure that they're doing okay. She and members of the BWA and other volunteers check on the members and sometimes offer small gifts. The BCA also has a social welfare committee where they're donating tens of thousands of dollars annually to many different groups. So when we give at the Thanksgiving or Dana programs, it's with these funds that we're able to give to other organizations and charities. In this recent Wheel of Dharma, there is an article about an award of $20,000 to the Umenoki Gardens, which is a senior living group, a home that was started by members of the Southern Alameda Buddhist Church. Because of COVID, the facility had to reduce its capacity by 50%, and so they had a financial shortfall. This Umenoki Gardens helps seniors who live there. They provide Japanese meals and are very good. This is the only senior living facility that is located on the BCA property. So we thank those who donate to the BCA funds and know that your donations help locally and internationally, because funds are given to many different things, disaster relief and many other programs. Now in Shin Buddhism, there may be a tendency to discourage practice, but I think there is a misunderstanding of the word practice. We discourage practice that strives to achieve a spiritual awakening. But we do need practice to become more aware of things. And the practices of the Paramitas and the Eightfold Path help us. It helps us toward a harmonious life. And this is true with everything. We always need instruction on what works best. If we were to play a sport or play a musical instrument, there's always a way of learning that is helpful to us. And this is what the Paramitas do. They tell us that if we practice these things, it will help us in our life. But we realize that we don't practice them to perfection, as the monks and nuns want to do. We practice them to enjoy life, because we can find that we can just do these activities and enjoy life and realize that when we reach a barrier, that something else happens. We begin to realize that even if we're enjoying something and we reach a barrier, there are the efforts of others who have continued to help us. This is like the teachers and others who helped us along the way. So again, practice is important, but knowing that it is just to learn how these things can help us through life, and it's not to practice to a point of perfection. We are not becoming Olympic athletes. We're just enjoying something to learn a sport or a game or some skill that we can enjoy. It's like going with the flow of the river. And there's a saying that it's always wise to ride the horse in the direction that it's running. So the activities like the rummage sale helped us in several ways to really experience this interdependence and to really experience dana, selfless giving, and to realize that many things happen, such as the donation to furniture and things, people helping to sell these things, people buying things. And then we realize that dana is part of this, that it is giving. And then part of it is also a reflection of our Eco-Sangha. So the rummage sale is a way of practice. It's a way of awakening to really appreciate that we have this life to live and we have the Dharma to help us. So this practice of living reaches a point where we may realize that there are limits. And when we reach these limits, we begin to become very aware of the efforts of others. And this is where our Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, reminds us that throughout this whole life, we are supported by others continually. And so our focus is not on ourselves, but by helping others, we realize that we are part of this interdependence of all life. So with this realization, please join me in expressing our deepest gratitude with the voicing of the Nembutsu. Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.